Okay, so in this video I'm going to be talking about astrology and timing of events. Most people think that astrology is basically your yearly sun sign horoscope or moon sign horoscope, where you go on some random website, type in your birthday information, and they give you this basic page to look at to predict your entire year ahead. And you couldn't be wrong. You couldn't be more wrong in thinking that's the accurate prediction, because astrology, even though it describes a personality for 99% of the public out there who just knows astrology as a basic tool to learn about personality and your yearly prediction from website, there's a whole lot more to it than some of these books and astrologers talk about regarding your astrological predictions. Now, in astrology, for a basic person who is watching this trying to look for some in-depth into astrology, I'm going to tell you right now that whatever you know right now about astrology is absolutely wrong. If you think that reading some weekly, daily, or yearly horoscope is going to show you what's going to happen in the next month, because on a website you might read that in July you will have a romantic encounter. Okay, so this is for, like, let's say general for Scorpios from October 23rd to November 21st, and then you go past July and yet nothing is there. There's no relationship, not even a single girl came up to you or a guy came up to you. So why is it that you should take astrology seriously once you go through these events? And to be honest with you, you shouldn't take astrology seriously if you are basing your analysis and your belief in astrology based on these facts. Because if you, let's say, want to know in real astrology, when will I get a relationship? Okay, in astrology there's something called planetary timing. There's two types of planetary timing. One is the transit, okay, and this is not your birth chart. Okay, your birth chart, the day you're born, is one prediction. Second prediction is the transits of the planets. So because planets are constantly moving, so every year, if Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus last year, it's going to be in the sign of Gemini this year, because Jupiter is in one sign for 1 year. Now, when it's looking at your transits, what you do is you take that moving Jupiter and you place that on your permanent birth chart. So, I know I'm going in a lot of different directions, but this is pretty much for people who a little bit have an idea. And this is all to tell people who really want to know about their horoscope and predictions, is not to go on these BS analogies to look at your horoscope. There's a lot more involved. So if you want to know about transit, Google the word transit and it will tell you what it means. Transit means it's a movement of the planet through the signs every year, every moment, every second. So when looking at the relationship aspect, you take certain planets, or you take all the planets, you put them in their current position in your permanent birth chart. So let's say if you have Jupiter and Leo in your birth chart in second house, and Jupiter is currently going through Taurus, what are you going to do? You're going to place that Jupiter in your house of Taurus, which is the 11th house for Cancer ascendant, because if Jupiter is in the second house in Leo, that means your first house is Cancer, because Cancer comes before the second house, Leo. So this is one way of putting different planets in different houses and seeing what is happening right now. Are these planets telling you, that you will have a love encounter or a romantic encounter? Are they giving you the permission to do that? That's one. Number 3 is something called Mahadasha. Mahadasha is different than transit. A planetary dasha means timing, a period of time. In true astrology, in the real scientific astrology, one planet will always control majority of your life for a certain period of time. So if you, let's say, were born in 1980, maybe from 80 to 87, Mars was controlling your life. So even though the planets were rotating, even though the planets were transiting, even though you had permanent planets showing you what your sun sign, moon sign is, or your rising sign is, there's still a planet in the very back controlling you, your aspects of life. So let's say for the first 7 years of your life, from the moment you're born to the age of 7, is Mars controlling that time period, because Mars controls 7 years of anyone's life. In that life, that child will come across things related to where his Mars is placed in his house, and what sign it's placed in, what degree it's placed in, and what constellation it's placed in. The constellation is different than the sign. Okay? And I talk about all of this in my book, Astrology at the Speed of Light. The link is below, you can check it out. So Mars is going to be controlling that child's life, and if the Mars is placed in a good position or bad position, depending on these positions, that child will go through those scenarios. So let's say if you're looking at an early death of a child, and Mars is controlling the first 7 years of their life, and they die at the age of 3, you want to see, first of all, what was Mars doing for this planet? What for this person? Was Mars well placed? Was it delineated? Was it in the 8th house? Was it aspected by the south node or the north node or Saturn? What degree, what constellation it was in? Constellations are the 27 constellation up in the sky, which is not your zodiac sign. So, there's all these different layers to astrology. And an astrologer needs to look at all these layers to determine one aspect of your life. So let's say Mars rules the 7 years, and then comes the Rahu, the North Node period of 18 years. So in your life, your permanent birth chart, the moment you were born, and those fixed planets are like a foundation to your house. The transiting planets, okay, that are moving every year, are the walls of your house. But then the Dasha, the Mahadasha, or the planetary period, that one planet that's controlling a certain part of your life all throughout your life, because it's going to be the roof of the house. That's the planet that's really going to be affecting everything, whether you're going to get rain or not, whether you're going to have field snow or not. And depending on that, how much leaky the roof is. So one person, your wife, might be going through a Venus period of 20 years or 19 years. You may be going through a 17 years of Mercury period, and depending upon how these planets are placed in, you're going to be running into those situations a lot. So in that 17 years, if Mercury is saying you're going to be running into a lot of criminal people, somehow you're going to be doing things that are going to either put you in the middle of a crowd which is corrupt, full of scam artists or thieves. You're going to do something stupid that may take you to jail, and you'll encounter a lot of inmates. Or if you look at it in a positive way, you might get a job as a correctional officer in a jail, and you're going to be around inmates, around bad people all the time, around corrupt people all the time. So for that 17-year period, that's what's going to be happening. Those are the situations you're going to run into. So looking at these aspects, that's how you create a prediction. You don't create a prediction for a general population from one page article. This is for Scorpios. That's absolutely garbage. You want to know if you will find love in July. You want to first of all look at your birth chart. Then you want to put those transiting planets on top of that birth chart. Where are they now? And you want to see, when they're transiting, you want to see what signifies a romantic relationship. And that is the 5th house and the 11th house. 5th, 7th, and 11th house. 5th house is of romance. 7th house is of relationship and marriage. 11th house is of hopes and wishes. So 11th house makes all your dreams come true, all your wishes come true. So when you see the transiting planets of the Lord of 5th, 7th, and 11th house, either exchanging in those houses or transiting through those houses again, or they have a mutual aspects in those houses, that's one way of predicting a relationship, a love interest coming into your life. And the most importantly is the dasha system. The dasha system will show if in this period, if in this planetary period, are you going to have a long-term relationship? Are you going to get married? Are you going to have a lot of heartbreaks? Or are you not going to run into any relationships at all? And these planetary periods and these methods of prediction are only available in Jyotish, or better known as Vedic astrology. Okay? In Western astrology, I do know they do look at the transits, yearly transits of the planets, which is good. And they can somehow, a good astrologer in Western world can make a good predictions out of that. But having so many more tools like the dasha system, the constellations, the degrees, the divisional charts, makes it a lot easier for a person like me who studies Vedic astrology or any Vedic astrologer. For them, it's even easier to predict things about you. And it's not that hard to learn astrology. If you're into astrology, if you want to know what astrology is, it's not that hard at all. Okay, if you have passion for it, you can probably, especially the way I've written my book, you can probably learn that in one sitting. You'll know exactly what you're looking at. You know exactly what transits are. You'll know exactly what predictive methods are in astrology. And once you do that, once you realize these true methods of predictions, you will never look at these weekly, daily horoscopes again. And please stop looking at these daily horoscopes that you see on YouTube. I see them, and it started with a couple of people. Now it's like a plague of daily horoscopes. How do you know? You don't even know this astrologer. This astrologer doesn't know you, and yet he's making a prediction of your daily luck, whether it's numerology or astrology. He's making this prediction saying, today you're going to have a bad day, or today you're going to run into a lot of people who are going to be agitated with you and who are going to make you feel uncomfortable, so be careful. You know what? Out of 1 million people who are watching that, I bet you about 100,000 will go through that situation and they'll believe it, while it was just a random act of prediction. But if you really want to pinpoint even a daily horoscope for somebody, you better look at their chart. You better ask them their birth details, their month, date, year, time of birth, and place of birth. You better put that in the software. You better look at the transits. You better look at the daily transits, what's happening, then make the prediction. This is why I can't see myself doing these stupid, idiotic daily, weekly, yearly predictions. Because if I did, I might as well do not follow astrology and don't tell people and preach astrology. But because I know what works, I've spent everything in my soul to know this. I know what works, and this does not work. These methods that you as an average person knows does not work. And if you were to just understand these procedures of astrology, you will realize astrology is not just a pseudoscience. It's a scientifically proven method of predicting or shedding a light into your future, into your life, and making you a better human being, changing your personality, making you aware of the wrongdoings, making you a good person. So hopefully this has helped. If you need to know more information, you can log on to the website below, krsnovel.com, click on the astrology book. Thank you.